we are going to start with, this is Mars Black. It is a fine touch color. However, my understanding from what I've seen recently is that fine touch has been discontinued. It is now all Master's Touch at Hobby Lobby, and I haven't tried any of it yet, but it is, it's only like a couple dollars more than the fine touch used to be. So I will be ordering some of that. We'll see what happens. Now this little thing, which is not, let's see here, how do you see that? It is not in my Everything You Need video. This came with a Christmas pack from Michael's. It's just this tiny little plastic palette knife, I guess is what the big ones are called, but a little spatula, I guess if you'd call it that. It does wonders for me on the initial paint spread. If I use a hair dryer, too much goes over the edge for me. Some people are really good at it. I'll admit it, I'm not. I'm special. I don't do things the way that most do, but I'm happy with how it turns out, and there are a few people who are also happy, and that is all that matters, right? As long as you're having fun, people enjoy what you do because it's wonderful, maybe unique, a little different. That is one of the most wonderful things about art. It can be anything. You can do anything. It can be anything you want it to be. Just play with it and figure out what works for you. I had no idea that I loved painting this much until my floor is squeaking. Until I started at the beginning of 2020. Great time to start, right? I was on YouTube, and somehow, you know, that rabbit hole you go down on YouTube. It happens. I'm hoping some of you were led to me through that rabbit hole. That would be great. But I came across acrylic painting, the Dutch pour. I saw so many people doing so many beautiful things with it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try that. So I just got myself some, I went to Walmart and got some cheapy little bottles of paint and picked up a few canvases and watched a lot of videos. I will always thank Canella and Rinska. Please let me say that right. I swear, if I don't, I'm so sorry. And Olga. Those three women, there's so many out there. I mean, they're all wonderful, but those three women are just my style and such beautiful women. I mean, they're wonderful, and they're very good at what they do. So I aspire to be like them when I decide to grow up. Okay, so the reason I torched in the beginning here, I'm still seeing, man, a lot of bubbles today. The reason you want to torch it in the beginning, you got to get rid of these bubbles because they will cause little dips in your paint. They will be a weird cell. They'll pop through funny and leave a hole. They're just kind of a pain. So get out like almost as much as you can in the beginning, and then you know, in the end, and as you go. If you're doing a Dutch pour, once you pour it, torch it, and then do your thing, and then do an all over torch at the end. Kind of keep an eye on it for a little bit, because some of them just randomly decide to pop out of nowhere. So it sucks, but all right. So what shall I do? How shall I start? I'm really excited to use these colors. I have a rose gold that I have never used yet. Oh, it is just so pretty, that color. So against the black, I think that's going to be fabulous. That one is a folk art metallic rose gold. I have the Fine Touch neutral gray, Fine Touch pink, Fine Touch titanium white. This was Mars black. I will also have Fine Touch ocean green and folk art extreme glitter turquoise. I love the extreme glitters. I really do. The metallics and the glitters. It's just, I like the sparkle. Okay, so now let's start with, let's do, I know what I'm going to do. Let's do pink. Normally I would do this, I mean, I would suggest you do it out of a bottle until you kind of get your groove, so you know how to flow your paint, so you really get used to how it flows, how it comes out, how it moves. It just helps. Okay, let's put a little white on there. When I'm doing this, I always hold my breath. I don't know why, like I'm afraid I'm just gonna screw the whole thing up, which I have done before. I mean, it's entirely possible to just mess it up. Okay, this is the ocean green. Oof. I saw that. I don't know if you did. There was a little glob. I really like that color, so I'll put more of that on there. I had some time during lockdown where I was not able to paint. So some of these sat, they shouldn't really sit, but they did. And I actually have found, surprisingly, they held up pretty well. In the bottles, some types separated, mixed them back together. They really seem to do just fine. I didn't have many problems. A few of them had a little lumps, then that's just, you know. Another thing I didn't mention in that video was, oh, that looks thin, a strainer. You will get, if you use, I use Floetrol as my pouring medium, you will get some on occasion, and you shake the tarnation out of it and it still is lumpy. So I got sure, this thing. I got this. It's just a teeny tiny little strainer. It just so happens to fit perfectly over the top of a cup. The larger cups, I think they're, what are they, the 18 ounces. And you just pour it through. And actually, if you really don't want to have to mess with clumps at all, I'd do it with all of your paint. Just go through, everything. It'll be a process, but go through and get it taken care of. Get it clean, and it'll actually it'll seem smoother than it has been. I'm going to get a few of these. I saw some more hairs. I am a cat owner. I think dog owners don't have as much trouble with hairs as cat owners do. I don't know what the difference is, but man, there's sometimes, I don't know. They're just everywhere. Okay. All right. Now we get to do, oops, that's the gray. Let me finish this off here. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more. This is my bottle of Fine Touch. Mars Black. You know what? We're gonna do it this way because you need a bunch for this part. There we go. Just don't think there was enough over there. All right. Now the real fun begins. Get all this stuff out of the way. And if you're wondering why I taped down my bags, it's because of the blow dryer. In the beginning, I never taped it down, and I had several flop over into the painting. Oh, that was a disaster. All right, so sorry if this is loud. I will turn it down in the video if it does seem loud. Okay, here we go. Oops. Quick torch. All right, here we go. Oh, darn it. I was hoping there was more color under there. This is how I test. You can blow in it and it'll bring some of the colors up. Yeah, I kind of like that. So simple. You've got this the big pop over here, and then it's just a really nice little kind of elegant flow out the bottom. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, torch it again. And yes, you can burn the paint. So be careful. Once you start, how do I say this? When you happen to have, in the beginning, a canvas, you put your paint on it, and grab your torch and find out what the distance is for your torch to the point where it'll start burning. You'll notice it's burning the paint. First of all, it'll smell a little funny, but it makes this little dimple, like a whole bunch of little dimples in one spot, and that is burnt paint. Why can't I find my paper towel? Excuse me. All right. Sometimes one of the things that you will do is if you know there, like I can tell there's paint under here. If I were to take my torch to it right here, it just might pull up some little bitty cells of color. If you have an area that you want to have just a little bit of something in it, do that. Oh goodness, that's in a bad spot. Whew. Okay. I do not know how I get so much hair in here. I have clothes that are specifically for painting. You'll see some of them are really torn up. They're old. And when I come in, I put those on. I take off the shoes that I was wearing out there, put on the shoes I wear in here, which are just slippers, old slippers, just to keep my feet from getting completely covered in paint. Although I would prefer to go barefoot, but that's just me. I put everything on, and I don't wear it out either. So I don't know. I don't know how I get it all in here. There are these really pretty faint lines right here. I don't know if that camera up there is going to get it, but there's some color just under the surface, and it's beautiful. I actually just popped open a few extra little cells here. That was a lot of fun. I like that. There's another one. This is also popping some bubbles too, so. And a funny little kink right there. Straighten that out. There we go. I think I'm really happy with this one. Wow, that is just so cool right there. All right, so that's it. I will, when this dries, I will bring it out for you to see at the end. So thanks for watching. Happy painting, everybody. All right, now you'll be able to see what I saw. I'm hoping I can get the shimmer to show. It's in there. It's really pretty.
Maybe showed a little bit up there in the top. Oh, there's a hair. I swear, I just sat here and took all those out. Amazing how that happens. There's those little stripes that I was telling you about. You know what? I'm going to turn off this light up here. My big light. Maybe you'll be able to see it a little better. Maybe. It is hard to capture shimmer when it's... I get a lot of camera or light reflection here, unfortunately. Yeah, but there are those little stripes that I blew out. Those over there, they weren't even there until I worked with it just a little bit. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Turn it this way. I think that's the way I would hang it. Just me. All right, I can't wait till it's done.